I've been living in Manchester for almost 4 months now, and that means I have done my scouting out of the perfect cafes to read in. I never used to actually enjoy reading in cafes because there was so much going on that I wouldn't be able to concentrate. Recently, I don't know why, don't know what has switched in my brain, but I love that. I really love the kind of background hustle and bustle. It just feels more exciting than just reading in my bedroom. You know, on my days off from school and work, all I really want to do is read, but I don't want to spend all of my time off in my bedroom. Like, I want to go and do something fun, and for me that is going to get a coffee and maybe, you know, a nice slice of cake or something in one of my favorite cafes. So I thought it would be a really fun idea to take you guys to all of my favorite cafes. I don't know if you live in Manchester or if you plan on visiting. I'm just going to tell you a bit about them, what I like about them. I think it's time to go to our first destination. That I love to read in is a classic. It's just Waterstones. Basically, Waterstones is just this chain of bookshops. I don't particularly love supporting chains of bookshops. I do prefer to support like little independent ones, but a lot of the independent bookshops that I like do not have a place to sit down and actually read. So Waterstones is just like the safe place to go. You know you're gonna get a seat because it's really big. It's also like there's an unwritten rule, you're in a bookshop, so it's just quite quiet. It's always full of kind of old people, so it's just such a sweet vibe in there. They also have a really good selection of teas and they give you a teapot. The design of the Waterstones, like the aesthetic of it, I wouldn't say is the coolest. It is a bit naff just because like it's a chain place. It's not gonna be like super arty or whatever. One of the best things is that you never feel pressured to leave. Even if you just get a cup of tea, you don't feel like you're taking up any tables, taking up anyone's time, and it's open till like pretty late hours, so I can go there after uni if I wanted. I would rate Waterstones out of 10 a good 7. I think its downfall for me is the fact that I can buy books there. It's such a struggle not to buy anything. I did pick up quite a few books when I went, but then I was like, Coco, you just can't. You've bought so many books recently. Although I love being surrounded by the books, it's too much of a temptation for me. The next place that I recommend is actually a really new cafe slash bookshop in Manchester. It's called House of Books and Friends. It's a non-profit cafe and bookshop, so any profits that they make in there go straight back into the running of the shop. The buildings are really cool. It was really lovely outside, and then when you go in, it feels very like grand. The sofas are like buttery leather ones, and round the corner there's this kind of really historic looking room, fully like wood furnishing. It kind of gives me Harry Potter vibes. It's new, so it's pretty quiet right now because not many people know about it. You can buy teas, coffees and cakes, and it's all like a pretty reasonable price. I must say I did get a flat white and it was shockingly bad actually. I don't think the girl had ever made coffees before or like steamed milk. It was really, really bad. They do teas though, and tea, like how can you mess that up? You can't. Another thing that I noticed was the music was really good in there. It was a lot of things that I like to listen to, but it's also not super distracting. A little downfall is that you can buy books there. Really nice vibes. You can still like chat with people in there, or you could go around the corner for a bit more quietness. I'm giving this place like a 7.5 out of 10. Now the third place I would say is maybe like one of my favorite cafes just in general in Manchester. It's so cool and arty. Maybe it's kind of a little pretentious. It's called Shop. I don't know how to pronounce it, but apparently it just means shop. I don't know what language. And it's just like an incredibly arty place. Amazing food. They do donuts and like other pastries. I had this amazing vegan chickpea kind of swirl and it was delicious. Also, their coffee is just 10 out of 10. Like, this is some of my favorite coffee in the whole of Manchester, and trust me, there's a lot, and there's a lot of good stuff, and everyone just feels very happy in there. I will say it's very small, so it's hard to get a seat sometimes. If you are trying to read, sometimes I do feel a little bit of like pressure to leave. It's not the biggest of places and it is an independent business. They don't really want you to be taking up space for a really long time because they need like the turnover of customers, but at the same time, if you go at a not busy time of day, they don't mind. The coffee and food is pretty expensive. It's the Northern Quarter. It's going to be like that, but it's so worth it. Music in there, of course, is amazing as well because all of the servers are just so cool and like really hot. So they're nice to look at as well. Yeah, they're all really cool and I just want to be them, and they give me really good style inspiration. And I would probably rate this place, I'm going to say an 8. It is amazing, but I do think it's very hard to get a place to actually sit down in there. And then the next place that I went could be my favorite place to read, and that cafe is called Junction. I have been in there in a lot of my videos so far. It's just always such a cozy place. They're open until I think usually around 7 p.m, so after work that's perfect for me. They also have amazing food, whether that's actual like lunch or dinner. Also, their cakes and sweet treats are just so tasty. I like the look of the place. It feels very homey and cozy. They use a lot of warm lighting. In this place, I don't feel any rush to leave. There's just a lot of people working in there, so it feels like that type of place where you can kind of just buy a couple of things and sit there for hours. Once again, the music is so good. In there, it's a little bit more like 80s. I think I'm gonna have to rate it, like, it's gonna be a 9.5 actually. It's really one of my favorite places to go. It's only not 10 out of 10 because it is a little bit expensive. Waterstones is definitely like value for money type place, but Junction is a little expensive because it's the Northern Quarter. The last place that I really love to read my book in is Ezra and Gill. Ezra and Gill is open super late until like I think 8 p.m. at least, which is not really normal for a cafe. It's hard to find a place like that. Loads of seats in there, so they do not care if you're just sitting there for hours. There's also a lot of like single seats along the walls, which are the ones that I like to take up. I will say it's usually very loud in there. The music's loud, the chatting is very loud. Most of the time I actually keep my headphones on. Whether I'm playing music or not, I'll just, you know, keep them on to block everyone out. I quite like the hustle and bustle around me. It's a bit like white noise. But yeah, they do really good coffees again. I think if you're getting hot food from the kitchen, it's amazing. The counter food and cakes aren't as good as like Junction or Seop. As you can tell, I really love the Northern Quarter, and that's kind of where I spend most of my time anyway. But yeah, Ezra and Gill, I've been there so much. Again, you'll see it in a lot of my videos that I go there. Those are all of the cafes that I really love to go and read in Manchester. I just want to point out that this is specifically for reading in cafes. There are so many other cafes that I really love for just food and coffee. For example, I work at a place called Feel Good Club. I would say that it is my favorite cafe in Manchester. I just wouldn't go there to read a book because I work there, and on my days off and my time off, like, I don't really want to go into my workplace. I would probably just end up talking to all of my friends like that I work with and not get any reading done. It's also pretty busy and like a really fun and lively place to be. It might not be the easiest place to read unless you're there on a weekday when it's mostly people just working on their laptops and it's nice and quiet. But yeah, if you ever are in Manchester, please come to Feel Good Club. I might be there. I work on the weekends. It would be so nice to see you and say hi. We're also a dog friendly place, so there are always really cute dogs. I just love it in there. Amazing food, amazing coffee, if I do say so myself, because I do make it. Just wanted to put it out there that I love where I work and it's a great coffee shop, but I just personally don't read in there. Let me know what are your favorite coffee shops or cafes in Manchester, because I'm always looking for new places to try. I hope you got some ideas of where to go in Manchester, whether you want to read a book or you just want to get a really good coffee. I will see you in my next video. Bye.